lot. Some people are like me, and they're in the gym all the time, and some people don't really enjoy exercise, and that's fine. Wherever you lie on the spectrum, there's one exercise that I would recommend everybody do regardless, and that is the squat. As explained in the 2012 article, Muscle Activation in the Loaded Free Barbell Squat by Dave Clark and his colleagues, squatting is an entire full body exercise, even though some people might not see it that way. It uses your quads, hamstrings, hips, glutes, calves, lower back, abs, and arms. Just by squatting once a week for 20 to 30 minutes, you're going to build muscle in your entire body. And as said by Ray Lloyd in his 2012 article, A Biomechanical Comparison of the Traditional Squat, for every about pound of muscle you put on, you're actually burning another 50 to 70 calories per day, just by having that extra muscle. So by squatting, you'll have more muscle in your entire body, and then that'll promote your body to burn more calories, and you'll also increase your balance, flexibility, cardiovascular health, and your metabolism. So to fully take advantage of all the benefits, as well as to avoid any injury while squatting, I'm going to teach you guys how to squat with correct form. And I'm going to do this by breaking down the squat into three main parts: the setup, the descension going down, and the ascension coming back up. So the first part of the squat that's important, that some people kind of overlook as being important, is the setup. So the first thing you want to do is get under your bar. You want to pull back your shoulders like this, pinch them, and set the bar right on your trap, which is between your shoulder muscle and your neck. And then you want to grip the bar, kind of a medium grip, not too far out, not too close in, but something that's comfortable for you. And then you're going to unrack the bar, take a couple little steps back. You don't want to step back too much because you want to hold the bar for as short of a time as possible. And then this part's important. You're going to take a good stance with your feet a little more than shoulder width apart and make sure that your toes are pointed out. So now that you have a good stance, you're ready to begin the descent. The most important part of the descent is you always want to lead with your hips going back. You never want your knees to come much further past your toes. You always want to be sitting back. So by leading with your hips back first, you're going to ensure that the weight is over your heels, and that's important. And you also want to make sure as you're going back that your spine is neutral. You don't want your back to be hunched over like this, and you don't want to be bent like this. You want to make sure that your spine is nice and flat the entire time you're going down. And then once you reach the bottom, as stated in Roy McCormick's book in 2004, Guidebook to Teaching the Parallel Squat, when you get to the bottom, you want to actually be a little bit under 180 degrees. So if your thighs are flat at 180 degrees, you want to be a little bit underneath that to ensure a full range of motion. So now that you're at the bottom of your squat, you're ready to come back up and begin the ascent. So the most important thing is making sure that your entire body rises at once. And this is done by ensuring that your knees are over your toes, and then that the bar is over that. So making a nice vertical line like this with the bar and then your knees and your toes. This will ensure that your entire body can rise at once. A common mistake is people have heavy weight and they'll start to go like this as they rise, they'll lean over, and then they'll really have to pull the weight up with your lower back, and that can cause injury. Another thing you want to make sure is as you're coming back up, your knees stay pointed out and don't kind of come in like this, because that can also cause injury. So, and then you're going to come and you're going to lock out your glutes, and that's going to be one rep and you're done. So now you guys know that the squat is a little more complex than it may seem at first. There are a lot of things you have to keep in mind as you go through the motion. You want to make sure that that in the setup you unrack the bar and take a really good stance. When you're coming down in the descent, you want to make sure that your back stays neutral the entire time and you're always moving back, never leaning forward. And as you're coming back up in the ascension, you want to make sure that your knees stay out, and that you always move your entire body at once. I know that beginning to squat may seem kind of a daunting task, especially if you haven't really done it before. But trust me, it's really worth it. Like I said, there are a ton of benefits for your health, and I know that everybody can find at least an extra 30 minutes to put towards their health and start squatting, and I think you'd be really happy with the results.